$600 a month. That's what most people spend on a decent hotel stay for a weekend. But what if I told you that in one corner of Europe, this amount could cover your entire monthly living expenses? What if I told you there's a place where ancient feuds still simmer beneath the surface, where massive bonfires light up the night sky for reasons tourists never understand, and where you can feast on breakfast so enormous they could feed a family of 4? What if this place also happened to be one of the most breathtaking destinations on Earth? With landscapes so dramatic they've served as backdrops for the world's biggest television series? Welcome to Northern Ireland, a land where contradictions dance together like old lovers who can't quite let go. This isn't your typical European destination, where backpackers flock with their Instagram-ready itineraries. It's a place where you can live comfortably on what others spend on their monthly coffee habit, where locals will argue passionately about the proper ingredients for an Ulster Fry, and where ancient traditions clash with modern aspiration in ways that would make your head spin. In Giant S Causeway postcards lies a complex society with stories that run deeper than any history book could capture. And where the line between celebration and provocation can be as thin as morning mist over Belfast Lough. So how do you navigate this fascinating puzzle of a country on just $600 per month? And where the warmth of the people can melt even the most hardened skeptic's heart. In the art of making the most out of what life hands you. Rolling green hills cascade into dramatic coastlines where ancient volcanic activity created geological wonders that defy imagination. Medieval castles perch on clifftops like stone sentinels guarding secrets from another age. And everywhere you look, there's this underlying sense that you're walking through history that's still being written. That the peace that exists today was hard-won and carefully maintained. But let's be brutally honest about something else. Northern Ireland isn't for everyone. If you're looking for the polished convenience of London or the effortless charm of Paris, you might find yourself disappointed. This is a place that requires patience, cultural sensitivity, and a willingness to look beyond surface-level judgments. The weather will test your resolve, the political undercurrents might make you uncomfortable, and some local traditions will leave you scratching your head in confusion. However, if you're someone who thrives on authenticity, who values genuine human connection over superficial pleasantries, and who understands that the most meaningful travel experiences often come from the most unexpected places, then Northern Ireland might just change your life. And at $600 per month, it might be the most affordable, life-changing experience you'll ever have. The real magic happens when you realize that this budget isn't just about surviving here. It's about thriving in a way that connects you to the rhythms of local life. You're not living like a tourist passing through. You're re-embedding yourself in communities that have weathered literal storms of history. Squeezed between the Republic of Ireland and the North Channel, this compact region packs more natural diversity into its 5,400 square miles than seems mathematically possible. From Belfast's urban energy to the wild beauty of the Causeway Coast, from the serene lakes of Fermanagh to the rugged mountains of Mourne, every corner reveals landscapes that feel both ancient and alive. Belfast itself sits at the mouth of the River Lagan like a city that grew organically from the very stones beneath it. The shipyards that once built the Titanic now house cutting-edge film studios, where HBO created Westeros. Then continue onto an area where Irish tricolors paint the story of entirely different dreams and aspiration. The history here isn't ancient history. It's living, breathing, and still shaping daily interactions in ways that can surprise newcomers. The University District around Queen's University Belfast has become a melting pot, where international students, local graduates, and young professionals create a cosmopolitan bubble that feels worlds away from the political tensions that once dominated headlines. This transformation hasn't erased the past. Instead, it's created layers of meaning that make Northern Ireland endlessly fascinating. You can visit the Crown Liquor Saloon, a Victorian gin palace that's been serving drinks since 1826. Then walk 5 minutes to see where the Belfast Agreement was negotiated, fundamentally changing the trajectory of an entire society. You can stand in front of murals that commemorate both Loyalist and Republican heroes, understanding that these aren't museum pieces, but active expressions of communities that continue to define themselves through art, memory, and hope. The political landscape has also shaped practical aspects of daily life in ways that affect your $600 monthly budget. Northern Ireland uses the British pound, but its relationship with both Britain and Ireland creates unique opportunities and challenges. You can cross the border into the Republic of Ireland without passport controls, suddenly finding yourself in a country that uses the euro, has different tax structures, and operates under European Union regulations despite being physically connected to a post-Brexit United Kingdom. Yet this same climate creates the impossibly green landscapes that make Northern Ireland photographically stunning. The constant moisture feeds rolling hills that glow emerald in any light, creates dramatic cloud formations that turn ordinary vistas into cinematic masterpieces, and maintains the lush vegetation that frames ancient castles and modern cities alike. learning to appreciate the subtle beauty of changing light patterns on rain-soaked landscapes becomes part of the Northern Ireland experience. The rhythm of daily life here moves to patterns established over generations, modified by modern realities but still deeply rooted in traditions that prioritize community over individualism. Mornings begin early, particularly in working-class neighborhoods where employment in manufacturing, shipbuilding, and services still follows traditional schedules. The commute into Belfast from surrounding areas creates daily migrations that connect rural and urban lifestyles in ways that keep the city grounded in broader regional identity. Lunch culture varies significantly between different communities and generations. Older residents often maintain patterns established during industrial heyday, with substantial midday meals and tea breaks that serve important social functions. Younger professionals have adopted more international patterns, grabbing quick lunches between meetings or working through traditional meal times to accommodate global business schedules. The real social magic happens in the evenings, when pubs become community centers, political debating societies, and entertainment venues rolled into one. The pub culture here isn't just about drinking. It is about maintaining social connections that can span generations and transcend some of the traditional divisions that once seemed insurmountable. A good pub serves as neutral ground, where conversation can range from local gossip to international politics, where musicians gather for impromptu sessions, and where strangers become friends through shared stories and mutual ribbing. Protestant areas often center around church services followed by family gatherings that can extend into the afternoon. Catholic neighborhoods have their own rhythms of worship and family time. Secular residents might spend Sundays hiking in the mountains, visiting cultural sites, or simply recovering from Saturday night adventures. Shopping patterns reflect both economic realities and cultural preferences. Local markets still play important roles in many neighborhoods, offering fresh produce at prices that help stretch limited budgets, while maintaining connections to agricultural communities throughout the region. The generational divide here is particularly fascinating because it often reflects broader societal changes in compressed time frames. Older residents live through the Troubles and carry memories that shape their worldviews in fundamental ways. Middle-aged adults experience the peace process and its aftermath, watching their society transform while building careers and families in an environment of increasing stability. Younger generations have grown up in post-conflict Northern Ireland, taking peace for granted while dealing with contemporary challenges like student debt, housing costs, and climate change. These generational perspectives create rich layers of conversation and social interaction. Young people might casually date across traditional religious lines, work in integrated environments, and travel freely throughout Ireland and Britain without thinking twice about boundaries. Their grandparents navigated carefully, yet they also inherit cultural identities, family stories, and community loyalties that connect them to deeper historical narratives. The role of women in Northern Ireland society has evolved dramatically, particularly in recent decades. Traditional gender roles remain influential in some communities, but women increasingly occupy leadership positions in business, politics, education, and community organizations. Dating and relationship dynamics reflect these broader social changes while maintaining distinctly Northern Irish characteristics. Traditional patterns of meeting through church, family connections, or neighborhood networks coexist with modern dating apps and social media connections. The compact nature of Northern Ireland society means that social circles often overlap in surprising ways, creating both opportunities and complications for romantic relationships cross-community. Relationships, once rare and often controversial, have become increasingly common, particularly among younger generations and in urban areas. These relationships serve as bridges between different traditions and help create new forms of Northern Irish identity that transcend historical divisions. However, they can also face pressures and complications that couples from more homogeneous societies might not encounter. Family structures remain important, with extended family networks providing both support and expectations that can significantly impact individual choices. Sunday dinners, holiday gatherings, and family celebrations create obligations and opportunities that bind generations together, while sometimes limiting individual freedom. Understanding these family dynamics is crucial for anyone hoping to integrate into Northern Irish society beyond superficial tourist interactions. Far from the stereotype of bland British cuisine, Northern Irish cooking represents a fusion of influences that reflects the region's complex cultural heritage. The famous Ulster Fry stands as perhaps the ultimate expression of this approach, a breakfast so substantial it could serve as dinner, combining elements that tell the story of agricultural abundance, working-class practicality, and cultural identity served on a single plate. A proper Ulster Fry includes bacon, sausages, black pudding, eggs, mushrooms, tomatoes, and the distinctive additions that set it apart from English or Scottish variations, potato bread, and soda farl. These bread components aren't mere accompaniments. They're regional specialties that reflect local grain cultivation, traditional cooking methods, and cultural preferences developed over centuries. The potato bread, made from mashed potatoes mixed with flour and butter, creates a dense, satisfying base that absorbs flavors while providing substantial nutrition. But describing the Ulster Fry as mere breakfast undersells its cultural significance. This meal represents Northern Irish hospitality at its most generous, a declaration that guests deserve abundance and care. It's also practical food developed by people who understood that hard physical work requires substantial fuel, that uncertain times call for hearty sustenance, and that sharing food creates bonds that transcend other differences. Beyond the Ulster Fry, Northern Irish cuisine showcases ingredients that reflect the region's geography and climate. Fresh seafood from the extensive coastline appears in everything from simple fish and chips to sophisticated restaurant preparations. The cold waters of the North Atlantic and Irish Sea produce exceptionally flavorful fish, while the rocky coastline provides habitat for shellfish that rival anything found in more famous culinary destinations. Irish stew, while shared with the Republic of Ireland, takes on distinctly northern characteristics through local variations in preparation and ingredients. The basic combination of lamb, potatoes, and onions becomes a canvas for regional preferences and family traditions. Some versions include carrots or other root vegetables. Others maintain strict adherence to the 3-ingredient minimum. The debate over proper Irish stew ingredients can become surprisingly passionate, reflecting deeper questions about authenticity, tradition, and regional identity. Champ, another beloved dish, elevates the humble potato to art form through the simple addition of scallions, butter, milk, and salt. This creamy, comforting side dish appears at family dinners, pub meals, and restaurant tables as both everyday food and special occasion accompaniment. The technique for making proper champ involves specific methods for cooking and mashing potatoes, folding in ingredients, and achieving the correct consistency that locals learn from childhood observation. Safety considerations for dating and social activities require understanding local contexts. That might not be obvious to newcomers. While Northern Ireland has become significantly safer since the Good Friday Agreement, certain areas and times still require awareness of local sensitivities and potential flashpoints. Women, in particular, benefit from understanding local social customs, safe transportation options, and community resources available in case of problems. The pub culture provides structured social environments where relationships can develop naturally, through conversation, shared activities, and gradual acquaintance. Many successful relationships begin in pub settings where the emphasis on conversation, humor, and storytelling allows people to showcase personality and intelligence in ways that more formal dating environments might not encourage. The ritual of buying rounds creates opportunities for reciprocity and generosity, while the informal atmosphere reduces pressure and allows relationships to develop organically. Family integration remains a significant milestone in Northern Irish relationships, often involving formal introductions, shared meals, and participation in family traditions that can feel intensive. To people from more individualistic cultures, extended families often maintain close relationships across generations, creating support networks that provide practical help and emotional connection while also creating expectations and obligations that affect individual choices. Marriage traditions reflect both religious influences and cultural preferences that vary significantly between different communities. Church weddings remain common, though civil ceremonies have become more popular, particularly among couples who want to avoid religious divisions or who prefer more personalized celebrations. The social expectations surrounding weddings can create significant financial pressures, as traditional celebrations often involve large guest lists, elaborate meals, and extensive entertainment that reflect family status and community connections. The festivals and traditions of Northern Ireland represent one of the most complex and potentially controversial aspects of local culture, encompassing celebrations that range from internationally recognized cultural events to neighborhood gatherings that can make outsiders feel distinctly unwelcome. Understanding these traditions requires appreciating that what appears to outsiders as simple celebration often carries layers of historical meaning, political significance, and community identity that run much deeper than surface appearances might suggest. The most famous and controversial of these traditions center around the Orange Order parades, particularly those held on July 12th to commemorate the Battle of the Boyne in 1690. These parades involve thousands of participants wearing orange sashes, carrying banners depicting historical figures and events, and marching to the accompaniment of loyalist flute bands playing traditional tunes. For Protestant Unionists, these parades represent legitimate celebration of their heritage, religious freedom, and political identity. For Catholic nationalists, the same parades can feel like triumphalist displays designed to reinforce dominance and exclusion. The complexity of Orange Order traditions becomes apparent when examining the careful negotiations that surround parade routes, timing, and conduct. The Parades Commission, established as part of the peace process, makes determinations about which parades can proceed along traditional routes and which must be rerouted to avoid areas where they might cause offense or provoke confrontation. These decisions often satisfy no one completely, with unionists arguing that their traditional rights are being curtailed, and nationalists contending that provocative displays continue to be permitted in sensitive areas. 11th night bonfires represent another tradition that operates at the intersection of culture, politics, and community identity. On the night before the 12th of July, Protestant loyalist neighborhoods construct enormous bonfires using pallets, tires, furniture, and anything else combustible they can gather. These towering structures, some reaching heights of 60 feet or more, are lit at midnight in celebrations that combine street parties, loyalist music, and community gatherings that can last until dawn. The bonfire tradition creates significant tensions because many of these structures are built in residential areas where safety concerns about proximity to houses, environmental impact of burning materials, and traffic disruption affect entire neighborhoods. Additionally, some bonfires become focal points for displays of sectarian imagery, including Irish flags, political posters, and symbols associated with Republican organizations, creating deliberate provocations that test community relations and police resources. However, dismissing these traditions as simple bigotry misses important aspects of working-class culture, community solidarity, and cultural expression that serve legitimate functions for participants. The months of preparation required to build major bonfires involve extensive community cooperation, with neighbors working together to gather materials, organize logistics, and plan celebrations. For many participants, particularly young people, bonfire building provides opportunities for leadership, teamwork, and cultural connection that might otherwise be unavailable. The complexity deepens when considering that similar traditions exist in nationalist areas, though they receive less international attention. August 8th bonfires commemorate the introduction of internment, when suspected Republican activists were imprisoned without trial during the Troubles. These nationalist bonfires often burn British flags, loyalist symbols, and effigies of political figures, creating mirror images of the provocations that characterize some loyalist celebrations. Lesser-known festivals throughout Northern Ireland provide opportunities to experience local culture, without navigating the political sensitivities of the major sectarian traditions. The Apple Blossom Festival in County Armagh celebrates the region's agricultural heritage, with events that include traditional music, local food, and craft demonstrations. The All Lammas Fair in County Antrim represents one of Ireland's oldest festivals, dating back over 400 years, featuring traditional crafts, local produce, and entertainment that connects contemporary celebrations to pre-industrial traditions. Halloween. Celebrations in Northern Ireland maintain strong connections to ancient Celtic traditions while incorporating contemporary elements that create unique local variations. The tradition of guising, where children dress in costumes and perform songs or tricks in exchange for treats, predates American trick-or-treating and maintains connections to older customs of honoring the dead and marking seasonal transitions. Some rural areas still practice traditions like lighting bonfires on hilltops, carving jack-o' lanterns from turnips rather than pumpkins, and telling ghost stories that connect contemporary celebrations to folklore traditions that stretch back centuries. St. Patrick's Day presents particular complexities in Northern Ireland because the patron saint of Ireland holds different meanings for different communities. While the holiday has become increasingly commercialized and secular, it retains political undertones that make celebration a statement of cultural and political identity. Belfast St. Patrick's Day Parade has grown significantly in recent years, drawing participants and spectators from across the community spectrum. But it still faces resistance from some unionists who view it as promotion of Irish nationalism, rather than simple cultural celebration. The traditional music scene provides one of the few areas where cultural traditions transcend political divisions, though even here complexities exist. Irish traditional music sessions occur regularly in pubs throughout Northern Ireland, attracting musicians and listeners from various backgrounds, who share appreciation for musical excellence regardless of political affiliations. However, certain tunes, songs, and venues carry political associations that can make musical choices statements of identity and allegiance. Loyalist flute band traditions represent a distinct musical culture that combines military precision, community pride, and political expression in ways that create powerful emotional connections for participants while often alienating observers from different backgrounds. These bands practice year-round, teach young people musical skills and discipline, and provide focus for community identity that serves important social functions. Yet their association with Orange Order parades and loyalist political expression makes their music controversial and limits appreciation of their technical skill and cultural significance. Folk festivals throughout Northern Ireland attempt to celebrate traditional culture while avoiding divisive political associations, often featuring musicians, dancers, and storytellers from various backgrounds who focus on shared cultural heritage rather than divisive political narratives. These events provide opportunities for cultural exchange and learning that help build understanding across traditional divisions, while maintaining connections to authentic traditional arts The storytelling tradition remains strong throughout Northern Ireland, with regular events featuring both professional performers and community members who maintain oral traditions that connect contemporary audiences to historical events, local legends, and cultural wisdom. These storytelling sessions often occur in informal settings like pubs or community centers, creating intimate environments where traditional narratives adapt to contemporary concerns, while maintaining connections to older ways of understanding and explaining human experience. Literature festivals celebrate Northern Ireland's remarkable literary heritage, featuring writers whose work ranges from political analysis to lyrical poetry, from historical fiction to contemporary social commentary. These events provide opportunities to engage with intellectual and artistic communities that often transcend political divisions while addressing the complex realities of Northern Irish experience through creative expression rather than political rhetoric. Craft fairs and agricultural shows maintain connections to traditional skills and rural life, while adapting to contemporary markets and interests. These events feature demonstrations of traditional crafts like weaving, pottery, and woodworking alongside displays of local produce, livestock, and rural innovations. They provide opportunities to understand how traditional skills adapt to contemporary conditions while maintaining cultural continuity across generations. The harsh economic reality of stretching $600 per month in Northern Ireland requires understanding local pricing patterns, available resources, and strategic approaches to major expenses like housing, food, and transportation. While this budget presents significant challenges, it remains possible for those willing to embrace local living patterns, share resources with others, and prioritize experiences over material accumulation. Housing represents the largest component of any budget, and Northern Ireland offers several options for keeping accommodation costs manageable. Shared housing remains the most practical approach for budget-conscious residents, with rooms in shared houses or apartments typically ranging from £200 to $350 per month, depending on location, condition, and included amenities. The key lies in understanding neighborhood dynamics and finding compatible housemates who share similar approaches to cleanliness, noise levels, and social activities. Student areas around Queen's University Belfast and Ulster University campuses offer the most options for shared accommodation, with purpose-built student housing and traditional houses divided into multiple rooms. These areas typically have better public transportation connections, more affordable food options, and social environments that make living without significant disposable income more manageable. However, they also involve noise, party culture, and temporary residence that might not suit everyone's preferences. Working-class neighborhoods throughout Belfast provide alternatives that offer more stability and community connection, though they require understanding local social dynamics and cultural sensitivities. Areas like the Falls Road, Shankill Road, and surrounding neighborhoods offer affordable housing options with strong community connections, but they also carry historical and political associations that affect daily life in ways that require cultural sensitivity and awareness. The outskirts of Belfast and smaller towns throughout Northern Ireland provide the most affordable housing options, with rooms available for £150 to $250 per month in areas that offer quiet living and natural beauty in exchange for longer commutes and fewer amenities. Towns like Bangor, Carrickfergus, and Lisburn offer small-town atmosphere with connections to Belfast through regular public transportation, creating opportunities for peaceful living with urban access. Food costs can be managed effectively through understanding local shopping patterns, seasonal availability, and community resources. Major supermarket chains like Tesco, ASDA, and Sainsbury's offer competitive pricing on basic staples, with frequent sales and discount programs that reward careful shopping. The key lies in meal planning, bulk purchasing of non-perishables, and embracing local ingredients that offer better value than imported alternatives. Local markets provide opportunities for fresh produce at significant discounts, particularly during peak growing seasons when local farmers offer surplus crops at prices well below supermarket rates. St. George's Market in Belfast operates Tuesday, Friday, and Saturday, featuring local produce, prepared foods, and craft items that provide both shopping opportunities and cultural experiences. Smaller markets throughout Northern Ireland offer similar opportunities for fresh food at reasonable prices while supporting local agriculture and businesses. The tradition of pub meals offers surprising value for those who understand local customs and timing. Many pubs serve substantial lunches and early dinners at prices that compete favorably with grocery shopping when considering the time and energy required for meal preparation. The social aspects of pub dining also provide opportunities for conversation, entertainment, and community connection that add value beyond simple nutrition. Cooking at home becomes essential for budget management, but it also provides opportunities to explore local ingredients and traditional recipes that connect daily life to cultural heritage. Learning to prepare Ulster Fry, Irish stew, soda bread, and other traditional dishes provides both practical skills and cultural understanding, while ensuring access to satisfying, nutritious meals at reasonable costs. Transportation costs can be minimized through understanding public transportation systems, walking networks, and cycling infrastructure that make car ownership unnecessary for many residents. Belfast bus system, operated by Metro, provides comprehensive coverage throughout the city and surrounding areas at reasonable costs, with day passes, weekly tickets, and monthly passes offering significant savings for regular users. The TransLink rail system connects Belfast to other major towns throughout Northern Ireland, providing access to employment, education, and recreational opportunities throughout the region. Student discounts, advanced booking savings, and off-peak pricing make rail travel affordable for those who plan ahead and remain flexible about timing. Walking becomes both transportation and recreation in Northern Ireland, where compact urban areas, extensive footpath networks, and beautiful countryside provide opportunities for pedestrian travel that combines practical mobility with exercise and sightseeing. Belfast city centre is entirely walkable, with most destinations within easy walking distance of each other, while rural areas offer hiking opportunities that provide both transportation and recreation. Cycling infrastructure has improved significantly throughout Northern Ireland, with dedicated bike lanes, secure parking facilities, and bike-sharing programs making bicycle transportation practical and safe for many journeys. The relatively flat terrain around Belfast and coastal areas makes cycling accessible for most fitness levels, while the compact distances make bike commuting realistic for many work and social activities. Entertainment and social costs require creativity and understanding of local customs that provide free or low-cost options for cultural engagement and social interaction. Pubs often feature live music, quiz nights, and sporting events without cover charges, providing entertainment that includes social interaction and cultural experience. The key lies in understanding local schedules, arriving early for popular events, and embracing the conversational culture that makes pub visits social experiences, rather than simple consumption. Museums, galleries, and cultural sites throughout Northern Ireland offer free admission or sliding scale pricing. That makes cultural education accessible regardless of budget constraints. The Ulster Museum, Belfast Exposed Photography Gallery, and various smaller cultural institutions provide opportunities for intellectual engagement and artistic appreciation without significant costs. Walking tours, hiking groups, and outdoor activities provide recreation that combines exercise, social interaction, and exploration at minimal cost. The extensive network of walking trails throughout Northern Ireland provides access to stunning natural beauty, historical sites, and recreational opportunities that require only appropriate clothing and transportation to. Trailheads, library systems throughout Northern Ireland provide not only books and digital resources but also community programming, meeting spaces, and internet access that make them valuable community resources for budget-conscious residents. Many libraries offer language classes, computer training, cultural programs, and social activities that provide education and entertainment at no cost. Seasonal employment opportunities can supplement limited budgets while providing cultural immersion and skill development. tourism-related work during summer months, agricultural employment during harvest seasons, and holiday retail positions during winter months offer temporary income that can significantly improve financial flexibility while providing work experience and social connections. The healthcare system in Northern Ireland operates under the National Health Service, providing comprehensive medical care without direct charges for most services. Understanding how to register with local GP practices, access emergency services, and utilize preventive care programs ensures access to necessary medical care without catastrophic expenses that could destroy a limited budget. Educational opportunities through local colleges, universities, and community programs often provide access to skills training, language learning, and cultural programs at reduced costs, or sliding scale fees that make personal development accessible regardless of financial limitations. Transportation throughout Northern Ireland reveals a compact region where efficient movement between dramatically different landscapes becomes both practical necessity and recreational opportunity. The road network, while sometimes narrow and winding, connects every corner of the country within reasonable driving times, making car ownership valuable but not essential for most lifestyle choices. Public transportation systems have evolved significantly since the peace process, with investments in infrastructure and services that make car-free living practical in urban areas, while connecting rural communities to employment, education, and cultural opportunities in larger towns and cities. Understanding these systems requires recognizing that Northern Ireland operates on a smaller scale than many visitors expect, where journey times that seem significant on paper translate to reasonable travel experiences in practice. Belfast Metro bus system provides comprehensive coverage throughout the city and immediate surrounding areas, with frequent service on major routes and regular connections to smaller neighborhoods and suburban areas. The system operates on a zone-based fare structure that rewards longer journeys and provides significant savings through day passes, weekly tickets, and monthly passes that make regular use economical for budget-conscious residents. The integration between different transportation modes creates opportunities for complex journeys that combine walking, cycling, bus travel, and rail connections to reach destinations throughout Northern Ireland efficiently and affordably. Understanding transfer points, schedule coordination, and ticket integration helps maximize the value of public transportation, while maintaining flexibility for complex itineraries. TransLink's rail network connects Belfast to major towns throughout Northern Ireland, with services that provide comfortable, reliable transportation for longer journeys while offering scenic routes that turn necessary travel into recreational experiences. The Belfast-Dublin Enterprise Service provides high-speed connections to the Republic of Ireland, creating opportunities for international travel and cultural exploration that extend beyond Northern Ireland's borders. Regional bus services fill gaps in rail coverage, providing connections to smaller towns, rural areas, and natural attractions that might otherwise remain inaccessible without private transportation. These services often operate on limited schedules that require advanced planning, but they provide access to hiking areas, coastal attractions, and cultural sites throughout the region. At reasonable costs, cycling infrastructure continues expanding throughout Northern Ireland, with dedicated bike lanes, shared use paths, and secure parking facilities that make bicycle transportation practical and safe for many types of journeys. The National Cycle Network provides marked routes that connect major destinations, while showcasing scenic landscapes and cultural sites that make cycling both transportation and recreation. The Comer Greenway, a converted railway line between Belfast and Comer, represents the type of cycling infrastructure that makes bike transportation attractive for both commuting and leisure use. The flat, paved surface provides safe cycling separated from motor traffic while connecting urban and rural areas through landscapes that showcase Northern Ireland's natural beauty. Belfast Bikes, the city's bike sharing program, provides convenient access to bicycles for short journeys without the expense and responsibility of bike ownership. The system operates through strategically located docking stations throughout the city center and surrounding areas, making it practical for one-way trips and spontaneous cycling decisions. Walking remains one of the most practical and rewarding forms of transportation. Throughout Northern Ireland were compact urban areas, extensive footpath networks, and stunning natural landscapes provide opportunities for pedestrian travel that combines necessary mobility with exercise and cultural experience. Belfast city centre can be crossed on foot in less than 30 minutes, making walking practical for most urban activities, while providing opportunities to discover architectural details, street art, and community life that would be missed from vehicle windows. The Ulster Way, a long-distance walking route that circumnavigates Northern Ireland, provides marked trails that connect coastal paths, mountain routes, and rural roads into a comprehensive network, accessible to walkers of various abilities and interests. While few people attempt the complete route, individual sections provide day hiking opportunities that showcase natural beauty, historical sites, and rural communities throughout the region. Urban walking networks in Belfast include the Titanic Quarter walkways, River Lagan towpath, and various park systems that provide pleasant pedestrian routes connecting residential areas, employment centers, and recreational facilities. These routes often feature public art, historical markers, and natural features that make walking both practical transportation and cultural education. Taxi services and ride-sharing options provide flexibility for journeys that don't align well with public transportation schedules or routes, though costs can accumulate quickly on limited budgets. Understanding local taxi customs, fare structures, and service areas helps minimize expenses while maintaining access to convenient transportation. When needed, car ownership remains valuable for exploring rural areas, accessing employment opportunities in locations poorly served by public transportation, and maintaining flexibility for complex schedules that don't align with fixed transit timetables. However, the costs associated with purchase, insurance, fuel, maintenance, and parking can consume significant portions of limited budgets, making car ownership a lifestyle choice that requires careful financial consideration. Car-sharing programs and rental options provide occasional access to private transportation without the ongoing expenses of ownership, making them practical for specific needs like furniture moving, rural exploration, or emergency situations that require transportation flexibility. The compact nature of Northern Ireland makes it practical to use different transportation modes for different types of journeys, combining walking for local errands, cycling for medium-distance travel, public transportation for regular commutes, and occasional car rental for special needs or rural exploration. Traffic patterns reflect both geographic constraints and historical development patterns that create congestion in predictable locations and times, while leaving other areas remarkably quiet and accessible. Understanding these patterns helps optimize journey planning and transportation choices while avoiding frustrations that can make travel stressful rather than enjoyable. Parking availability and costs vary dramatically between different areas, with city center parking commanding premium prices while suburban and rural areas typically offer free or low-cost options. Understanding local parking regulations, time limits, and enforcement patterns helps minimize costs and legal problems while maintaining access to destinations that require private transportation. The scenic value of many transportation routes adds recreational dimensions to necessary travel, making journey times opportunities for sightseeing and cultural appreciation, rather than simple mobility requirements. Coastal roads, mountain passes, and rural routes provide spectacular scenery that makes travel itself a rewarding experience, worthy of slower speeds and frequent stops. Northern Ireland's attractions span from world-famous natural wonders to hidden gems that provide intimate experiences of landscape, history, and culture without crowds or commercial tourism infrastructure. Understanding this range of options helps balance bucket list destinations with authentic local experiences while managing costs and avoiding tourist traps that can drain limited budgets quickly. The Giant's Causeway stands as Northern Ireland's most famous natural attraction, a UNESCO World Heritage Site, where ancient volcanic activity created approximately 40,000 hexagonal basalt columns that seem to geometrically perfect to occur naturally. The site combines geological wonder with mythological significance, as local legends attribute the formation to the giant Finn McCool, who built the causeway as a bridge to Scotland to fight his rival Bonandaner. The visitor experience at Giant S Causeway requires understanding that this remains an active natural environment where weather conditions, tide levels, and seasonal changes affect both accessibility and visual impact, early morning and late afternoon. Visits provide the best lighting for photography while avoiding peak crowds that can make the narrow pathways congested and less enjoyable. The Causeway coastal route provides the scenic drive that connects Giant S Causeway to other coastal attractions while showcasing landscapes that explain why this area has become synonymous with Northern Ireland's natural beauty. The route includes stops at Dunluce Castle, Carrick-a-Reid Rope Bridge, and various smaller attractions that can be combined into comprehensive touring experiences or visited individually based on available time and transportation. Carrick-a-Reid Rope Bridge represents one of Northern Ireland's most thrilling tourist experiences. A narrow suspension bridge spanning a 65-foot chasm between the mainland and a small rocky island. Used historically by salmon fishermen, the bridge crossing itself takes only minutes, but the experience combines physical challenge with spectacular coastal views that make it memorable regardless of individual comfort with heights. The dark hedges, made famous as the King's Road in Game of Thrones, demonstrates how television and film exposure can transform relatively modest local attractions into international destinations. The avenue of beech trees, planted in the 18th century as a scenic approach to Gracehill House, creates a natural tunnel that photographers find irresistible despite heavy tourist traffic that has strained both the trees and local infrastructure. Game of Thrones filming locations throughout Northern Ireland provide organized touring opportunities that combine natural beauty with popular culture appeal, while generating significant tourism revenue for local communities. These locations include Ballintoy Harbour Iron Islands, Castle Ward Winterfell, and various coastal and rural sites that showcase Northern Ireland's landscapes. To global audiences, the Titanic Belfast Museum represents one of Northern Ireland's most significant cultural attractions. Built on the site where our MS Titanic was constructed and launched in 1912, the museum combines historical artifacts, interactive exhibits, and architectural innovation in a building designed to reflect the ship's appearance and the industrial heritage of Belfast's shipbuilding industry. Belfast's political murals provide unique cultural experiences that require sensitivity and understanding of local contexts while offering insights into community identity, historical memory, and artistic expression that can't be found elsewhere. The murals on the Falls Road and Shankill Road represent different political perspectives through powerful imagery and symbolism that continues evolving as communities process historical trauma and contemporary challenges. Peace walls throughout Belfast serve as both historical artifacts and contemporary realities, providing opportunities to understand the physical manifestations of political division while recognizing the complex negotiations required to maintain peace in divided societies. These barriers, some reaching heights of 25 feet and stretching for miles, demonstrate both the persistence of division and the pragmatic approaches that allow different communities to coexist. The Ulster Museum provides comprehensive coverage of Northern Ireland's natural history, cultural heritage, and artistic achievements through collections that include everything from ancient artifacts to contemporary art installations. The museum's approach to controversial historical topics demonstrates how cultural institutions can address difficult subjects while serving diverse communities with different perspectives on shared history. Botanic Gardens Belfast offers peaceful retreat in the heart of the city, featuring Victorian glasshouses, diverse plant collections, and open spaces that provide recreation and relaxation without admission charges. The gardens serve both tourists and local residents as community space where families picnic, students study, and individuals find quiet moments away from urban intensity. Castle Ward, beyond its Game of Thrones fame, represents one of Northern Ireland's most significant historic houses, featuring architectural styles that combine classical and Gothic elements in ways that reflect the competing tastes of its original owners. The estate includes formal gardens, working farmyards, and extensive grounds that provide multiple recreational activities while interpreting historical periods from medieval times through the present. Mount Stuart House and Gardens showcase aristocratic lifestyle and horticultural excellence through formal gardens, elaborate interiors, and art collections that demonstrate how wealthy families live while contributing to Northern Ireland's cultural development. The property's location on the shores of Strangford Lough provides stunning natural settings that enhance architectural and horticultural features. The Mournes Mountains provide hiking, climbing, and outdoor recreation opportunities in landscapes that inspired C.S. Lewis's Chronicles of Narnia, while offering challenging terrain for experienced outdoors enthusiasts and gentle walks for casual hikers. The range includes Northern Ireland's highest peak, Slieve Donard, along with numerous other summits that provide spectacular views across the Irish Sea towards Scotland, England, and the Isle of Man. Bushmills Distillery offers tours and tastings that combine industrial heritage with contemporary whiskey production while demonstrating traditional methods that connect modern products to centuries of local craft knowledge. The experience includes education about whiskey production processes, tasting sessions that develop palate appreciation, and historical context that explains how Irish whiskey differs from Scottish and American variations. Rathlin Island, accessible by ferry from Bailey Castle, provides opportunities to experience island life, seabird colonies, and landscapes that feel remote despite being only miles from the mainland. The island's small population, limited accommodation, and natural beauty create intimate experiences that contrast sharply with mainland tourism, while offering insights into traditional island communities and maritime heritage. Hidden gems throughout Northern Ireland reward exploration beyond major tourist destinations, including secluded beaches, historic sites without visitor centers, natural areas known primarily to locals, and cultural venues that provide authentic experiences without commercial tourism infrastructure. These discoveries often provide the most memorable experiences while supporting local communities that benefit from respectful tourism without suffering from overcrowding or cultural commodification. Safety in Northern Ireland requires understanding contemporary realities that differ significantly from historical perceptions while recognizing that certain locations and situations still require awareness and cultural sensitivity. The transformation from conflict to peace has been remarkable, but it remains incomplete in ways that affect daily life for residents and visitors who need practical information rather than political rhetoric. The overall crime rate in Northern Ireland compares favorably to other regions of the United Kingdom and Western Europe, with violent crime rates significantly lower than many international destinations that receive much less security scrutiny. The peace process has created strong incentives for maintaining public safety, while economic development has reduced some of the social conditions that contributed to historical conflicts. However, certain areas and times still require heightened awareness of local sensitivities and potential tensions that can escalate quickly under specific circumstances. Interface areas, where Protestant and Catholic neighborhoods meet, sometimes experience periodic tensions that can affect public safety during sensitive times, like parade seasons, anniversary dates, or periods of political stress. Understanding local geography and community boundaries helps residents and visitors navigate sensitive areas respectfully while avoiding situations that might create problems through ignorance rather than malice. Peace walls, painted curbs, murals, and flags provide visual indicators of community identity and political affiliation that help inform appropriate behavior and conversation topics. The Police Service of Northern Ireland operates under significant scrutiny and accountability measures designed to ensure impartial law enforcement that serves all communities equally. This represents a dramatic change from historical patterns, where police forces were viewed as partisan organizations. Though building complete trust across all communities remains an ongoing process, emergency services throughout Northern Ireland maintain high professional standards and response capabilities, with integrated systems that provide comprehensive coverage for medical emergencies, fire protection, and rescue services. The compact geography and modern infrastructure ensure rapid response times for most locations, though rural areas may experience longer delays for specialized services. Healthcare accessibility through the National Health Service provides comprehensive medical care, without direct charges for most services, creating safety nets for serious health problems that could otherwise create financial catastrophes for residents living on limited budgets. Understanding registration procedures, service availability, and emergency protocols ensures access to necessary care when needed. Personal safety considerations for women require understanding local social customs and cultural expectations while recognizing that Northern Ireland generally provides safe environments for independent travel and social activities. The strong community connections and cultural emphasis on hospitality create protective social environments. Those standard precautions remain appropriate for unfamiliar situations and locations. Walking alone at night in urban areas requires the same common sense precautions appropriate anywhere, though Belfast city centre and established residential areas generally provide safe environments with good lighting, regular foot traffic, and emergency assistance availability. Understanding local pub closing times, transportation schedules, and safe walking routes helps ensure secure return travel from social activities. Rural areas throughout Northern Ireland typically provide extremely safe environments with low crime rates and strong community networks that look out for residents and visitors. However, the isolation and limited emergency services in remote areas require preparedness for outdoor activities, vehicle breakdowns, and weather-related problems that could become serious without proper planning. Cybersecurity and identity protection require standard digital hygiene practices. Though Northern Ireland's position within the United Kingdom provides regulatory protections and legal recourse comparable to other developed countries, understanding local banking systems, mobile phone services, and internet security helps protect personal information and financial resources. Alcohol-related incidents represent the most common safety concerns in social situations. Though Northern Ireland's drinking culture includes strong social controls and community oversight, that typically prevents serious problems. Understanding local customs about pub behavior, drinking limits, and safe transportation helps ensure enjoyable social experiences without safety risks. Political discussions require cultural sensitivity and awareness of local perspectives. Though the democratic nature of Northern Irish society protects freedom of expression and political participation, visitors and new residents benefit from listening more than speaking initially, while developing understanding of local viewpoints and appropriate ways to engage with controversial topics. Sectarian tensions, while greatly reduced from historical levels, can still emerge during sensitive periods or in response to external events that trigger historical memories and community anxieties. Understanding local schedules, community events, and potential flashpoints helps avoid inadvertent involvement in situations that might become confrontational. Road safety requires understanding local driving customs, road conditions, and traffic patterns that differ from other regions. Rural roads can be narrow, winding, and poorly marked, while urban areas may have complex traffic management systems and parking restrictions that require local knowledge to navigate safely and legally. Weather-related safety considerations include understanding how Northern Ireland's maritime climate creates conditions that can change rapidly and dramatically affect outdoor activities, transportation, and personal comfort. Proper clothing, emergency supplies, and flexible planning help ensure safety during outdoor activities and travel. Community integration provides natural safety networks through social connections, local knowledge, and mutual support systems that enhance personal security while enriching cultural experiences. Building relationships with neighbors, co-workers, and community members creates resources for assistance, advice, and emergency support that formal services cannot provide. Educational opportunities in Northern Ireland span from world-class universities to community colleges and specialized training programs that provide pathways for personal development, career advancement, and cultural integration. Understanding these options helps residents maximize their potential while contributing to local communities and economies. Queen's University Belfast ranks among the United Kingdom's leading research universities, offering undergraduate and graduate programs that attract students from throughout Ireland, Britain, and internationally. The University's Belfast campus combines historic architecture with modern facilities, while maintaining strong connections to local communities and industries. Ulster University operates campuses in Belfast, Jordanstown, Coleraine, and McGee-Derry, Londonderry, providing comprehensive higher education options throughout Northern Ireland with programs that emphasize practical skills, community engagement, and regional economic development. The university's distributed model makes higher education accessible regardless of location, while maintaining connections between academic programs and local employment opportunities. Stranmillis University College and St. Mary's University College specialize in teacher education and related fields, preparing educators who serve throughout Ireland, while maintaining distinctive educational philosophies that reflect different cultural and religious traditions. These institutions demonstrate how higher education can serve specific community needs, while maintaining academic excellence. Belfast Metropolitan College and other further education institutions provide vocational training, apprenticeship programs, and adult education opportunities that bridge gaps between secondary education and employment or university study. These programs often provide practical skills training that connects directly to local employment opportunities while offering flexible scheduling for working adults. Language learning opportunities include both formal courses and informal community programs that help international residents develop English skills, while providing local residents access to other languages that enhance employment prospects and cultural understanding. The multilingual nature of contemporary Northern Ireland creates demand for language skills that opens employment and social opportunities. Adult education programs throughout Northern Ireland provide second chance opportunities for residents who want to complete secondary education, develop new skills, or explore intellectual interests that circumstances prevented them from pursuing earlier in life. These programs often operate through community centers, libraries, and educational institutions with flexible scheduling and supportive learning environments. Professional development opportunities connect to Northern Ireland's evolving economy, which increasingly emphasizes technology, financial services, creative industries, and advanced manufacturing that require specialized skills and continuous learning. Understanding local employment trends and skill demands helps residents align educational choices with career opportunities. Research opportunities at local universities and institutions provide pathways for residents interested in contributing to knowledge development while building credentials and professional networks. Northern Ireland's unique position creates research opportunities in peace studies, conflict resolution, post-conflict development, and related fields that attract international attention and funding. $600 a month. That's what most people spend on a decent hotel stay for a weekend. But what if I told you that in one corner of Europe, this amount could cover your entire monthly living expenses? What if I told you there's a place where ancient feuds still simmer beneath the surface, where massive bonfires light up the night sky for reasons tourists never understand, and where you can feast on breakfast so enormous they could feed a family of 4? What if this place also happened to be one of the most breathtaking destinations on Earth, with landscapes so dramatic they've served as backdrops for the world's biggest television series? Welcome to Northern Ireland, a land where contradictions dance together like old lovers who can't quite let go. This isn't your typical European destination, where backpackers flock with their Instagram-ready itineraries. It's a place where you can live comfortably on what others spend on their monthly coffee habit, where locals will argue passionately about the proper ingredients for an Ulster Fry, and where ancient traditions clash with modern aspiration in ways that would make your head spin. In Giant S Causeway postcards lies a complex society with stories that run deeper than any history book could capture. and where the line between celebration and provocation can be as thin as morning mist over Belfast Lough. So how do you navigate this fascinating puzzle of a country on just $600 per month? And where the warmth of the people can melt even the most hardened skeptic's heart. And the art of making the most out of what life hands you. Rolling green hills cascade into dramatic coastlines where ancient volcanic activity created geological wonders that defy imagination. Medieval castles perch on clifftops like stone sentinels guarding secrets from another age. And everywhere you look, there's this underlying sense that you're walking through history that's still being written, that the peace that exists today was hard-won and carefully maintained. But let's be brutally honest about something else. Northern Ireland isn't for everyone. If you're looking for the polished convenience of London or the effortless charm of Paris, you might find yourself disappointed. This is a place that requires patience, cultural sensitivity, and a willingness to look beyond surface-level judgments. The weather will test your resolve, the political undercurrents might make you uncomfortable, and some local traditions will leave you scratching your head in confusion. However, if you're someone who thrives on authenticity, who values genuine human connection over superficial pleasantries, and who understands that the most meaningful travel experiences often come from the most unexpected places, then Northern Ireland might just change your life. And at $600 per month, it might be the most affordable, life-changing experience you'll ever have. The real magic happens when you realize that this budget isn't just about surviving here. It's about thriving in a way that connects you to the rhythms of local life. You're not living like a tourist passing through. You're re-embedding yourself in communities that have weathered literal storms of history. Squeezed between the Republic of Ireland and the North Channel, this compact region packs more natural diversity into its 5,400 square miles than seems mathematically possible. From Belfast's urban energy to the wild beauty of the Causeway Coast, from the serene lakes of Fermanagh to the rugged mountains of Mourne, every corner reveals landscapes that feel both ancient and alive. Belfast itself sits at the mouth of the River Lagan like a city that grew organically from the very stones beneath it. The shipyards that once built the Titanic now house cutting-edge film studios, where HBO created Westeros. Then continue onto an area where Irish tricolors paint the story of entirely different dreams and aspiration. The history here isn't ancient history. It's living, breathing, and still shaping daily interactions in ways that can surprise newcomers.